What's up, guys? For today's build, we've got the Viking funeral for Sunbreaker Titan. It's going to be revolving around ASHEN, Wake, and Jotun. But, getting right on the aspects you're going to be running, we're going to be running Soul Invictus, so that your solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeating scorched targets will create sunspots. This is going to help you with survivability because of restoration, and also give you a slight bump in regen speed for your abilities. And then, obviously, a no-brainer, we're going to be running Roaring Flames, so that every solar ability final blow and ignition that you have will increase the damage of your solar abilities, thereby making your Ashen Wake nades very powerful. But we're also going to be taking advantage of Roaring Flames being active. Your uncharged melee will deal solar damage and scorch targets, which feeds right back into creating sunspots very easily, and also one of the fragments, which I will show here in a second. But because we are running Ashen Wake, obviously we're going to be running fusion nades. There's no other option for this build. But for the melee, I prefer to run Hammer Strike because whenever you defeat a target, they ignite, and a fragment, I'll show you in a second, is going to help you spreading Scorch with that, and also for the increased mobility. But because we're running Roaring Flames, we can take advantage of scorching targets. Even though we don't have our powered melee, we still can take advantage of burning everything around us. And then your jump can be whatever you want. I'll be honest, I don't really use my class ability in this build whatsoever, so it doesn't really matter. Whatever you want. Your super as well can really be whatever you want, but I recommend running Hammer of Soul because of Soul Invictus, and I just think it's the better super of the two. But hey, that's just me. For the fragments, you're going to want to run Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. Just super strong, great way to buff up Jotun's damage, and super easy to activate, and you're almost always going to have your melee as well as your grenade in this build. Next up, we've got Ember of Searing. Defeated scorched targets grant melee energy, and you get a nice little bump in recovery. So, like I said, with Roaring Flames, your uncharged melee will scorch targets, giving you that extra melee energy so that you can use your shoulder charge / hammer strike more often. And because of Ember of Ashes, your scorch stacks that you apply will be increased so that you can ignite some targets just off of punching them 3 times. So that's just really nice. And then we are combining that with Ember of Char so that your solar ignitions continue to spread that scorch and give you a nice little bump in discipline there. So starting off with the weapons, your primary can be whatever you want. I personally like my Chroma Rush with Feeding Frenzy and Kill Clip. It's been my baby ever since they sunset Breakneck, which I am still heartbroken over, but whatever. And then Jotun. So, this season they introduced a catalyst for Jotun, where whenever you defeat targets, it spreads Scorch. And again, whenever you spread Scorch and defeat Scorch targets, you are then getting melee energy back. So, then we also are running Hezen's Vengeance with Cluster Bombs because we are going to be running Explosive Wellmaker. So almost everything that you do in this build will be creating solar wells. But for a bit more detailed breakdown for each of the mods, starting with the helmet, we're going to be running a Solar Elemental Affinity with Well of Life for the combat mod, and then if you want, you can run double ashes to assets, but I like to have a little bit easier time getting ammo for Jotun because sometimes it can be a little difficult. So I run 1 stack of ashes to assets and 1 fusion rifle ammo finder. On Ashen Wake, I run Solar Elemental Affinity with Explosive Well Maker, and then because I am running Chroma Rush, I like to have Overload rounds, and then for Jotun, Fusion Rifle Loader. But if you don't really care for one of those mods, you technically could run Impact Induction, because you're going to be causing damage with your melee attack and getting a less penalty cooldown for your grenade. But to be quite honest, I think that's a little overkill considering how easy it is to get your grenade back. On your chest piece, we're going to be running Solar Elemental Affinity again with Bountiful Wells. This way, every time you create a well with Explosive Well Maker, or Elemental Ordnance, or Flame Harvesting, which I will show in a second, all of those things will grant you 2 wells. And in some cases, you can double dip and actually get 4 wells off of 2 kills. But we're also going to be running Armor of the Dying Star. It's just a really useful seasonal mod, getting 2 elemental resist there. And again, Jotun sometimes can be a little difficult on the ammo front, so I run Fusion Rifle Reserves. On the boots, it doesn't really matter what elemental affinity you run, but you're going to be running Elemental Ordnance, and then again, to help with making sure you have ammo for Jotun, I run Fusion Rifle Scavenger. But on the class item, we are going to be running a Solar Elemental Affinity to be taking advantage of Well of Ordnance. Picking up a Solar Elemental Well will grant you additional grenade energy, just in case you didn't quite get your full grenade off of your Ashen Wake kills. And then combining that with Flame Harvesting, a seasonal mod for Season of the Haunted, where Solar Exotic Final Blows create Solar Elemental Wells. So the way that this works is off of 2 kills, whether it's at the same time or you kill one target and then the other, it will create a Solar Elemental Well, which with Bountiful Wells will be 2. And then Solar Fulmination, so your ignitions do an increased damage and have an increased radius, which also will help you spread those Scorch stacks more. As far as your stats go, I would recommend a high resilience, pretty high recovery, and then high melee strength. Your discipline's not that important because Ashen Wake will kind of help you override that, and also with all of the wells, it's really easy to get your grenade back. So, real quick, little demonstration. You can run in, just throw down, kill one target, but almost already have your grenade back because of Ashen Wake. And see if I can make a double kill happen. There you go. 4 elemental wells off of 2 kills right there. Super nice and easy. And I am trash, so I missed my Ashen Wake shot. And Scorn are super annoying and always run away. But there we go. So there is... that should have been 4, but sometimes it can bug out. So, anyways, really easy to work with build. Absolutely love it. A lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it too. So, I will catch you next week. Remember to like and subscribe. And hopefully next week I will also have a bit better mic quality for you so that it will be easier to hear me. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one.